Welcome! If you're preparing for the strategic case study exam, you're in the right place. I know that this exam can feel like a big step because it brings together everything you've learned in the strategic level and puts your judgment and communication skills to the test. But don't worry, in this video I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to prepare so that you are confident on the exam day. Whether you've just started looking at the pre-scene or you're feeling overwhelmed by how much there is to do, this video will give you a clear structure and show you what really matters in the lead-up to the exam. We'll start by looking at how SCS is different from all the other exams that you've taken before. We'll break your preparation into 3 essential steps. Things that we've seen work again and again with students who've passed. You'll also get a sneak peek at how our tutors explain the key parts of the pre-scene, including selected insights from E3, P3 and F3. If you're preparing on your own, or if you're already using some other materials, this video will help you focus your time and effort where it really counts, and avoid the common mistakes that lead to poor performance on your exam day. And at the end, I'll show you how our team can actually support you further, with structured courses, mock exams, personalized marking, and guidance from tutors who specialize in SCS preparation. Alright, let's dive in and start building your strategic case study success plan. Before we dive into how to prepare, let's take a moment to understand how the strategic case study exam is different from the objective test exams you've taken before, and why your approach needs to shift. This is not about memorizing theory anymore. At the strategic level, it's about applying your knowledge in context. You need to take what you know from E3, P3 and F3 and actually use it to make business decisions. You're expected to think like a senior leader. So instead of recalling a model or formula, you'll be analyzing real scenarios, weighing up options and offering strategic recommendations that reflect what a real finance officer would do. Second, this isn't just an exam. This is a business simulation. You'll be placed in the role of a senior finance professional, usually reporting to a CFO and responding to internal emails, meeting notes, or urgent requests from executives. This could include analyzing a new investment proposal, addressing a risk flagged by the audit committee, or advising the CEO on how to respond to market developments. It's practical, it's fast-paced, and reflective of what real life looks like in senior management. You're not just ticking boxes, you're being tested on how you think and how you communicate. Third, and this is really important, there is no right or wrong answer. You won't be penalized for choosing option A or B. Instead, you're assessed on how well you explain and justify your reasoning. You need to demonstrate a clear thought process, apply relevant theory, use financial insights, and always keep the organizational goals and context in mind. A good answer shows the examiner you've understood the big picture and can make decisions that are logical, defensible, and aligned with the business strategy. And finally, it's not multiple choice. Of course, you'll be writing memos, reports, board briefings, and email responses, well, mostly email responses, and everything under pressure, and often with more than one issue to tackle in a single task. It's not just about what you know, but how well you can structure your thoughts, communicate clearly, and present your advice in a professional tone that suits a senior audience. Even the best ideas can fall flat if they are not well communicated, so writing style and clarity really matter. In short, the strategic case study exam is a test of your judgment, your communicational skills, and your ability to think like a finance leader. It's not easy, but it's manageable if you understand what's expected and prepare in the right way. And that's exactly what I'll walk you through in this video, so you can approach this exam with structure, confidence, and the strategic mindset it requires. There's a lot of material out there, and a lot you can do to prepare for your strategic case study exam. But over the years, working with hundreds of SCS students, we've seen that these 3 core steps make the biggest difference when it comes to actually passing the exam and doing so with confidence. Step 1. Apply your knowledge. Don't just memorize it. SCS is not about repeating theory word for word. It's about taking everything you've learned in E3, P3, and F3 and using it like a senior finance leader would to solve real-world business problems. Whether it's evaluating a strategy, advising on risk, or assessing a funding decision, you'll be expected to show that you understand how the pieces fit together and can respond in a practical and logical way. Step 2. Use the pre-scene wisely. This document gives you a head start, but only if you know how to approach it. The key isn't about memorizing every line. It's about understanding the company's position, spotting key themes, identifying risks, and thinking about where the examiner is likely to go with the unseen scenario. A smart pre-scene analysis helps you walk into the exam ready, focused, and ahead of the curve. And finally, step 3. Practice writing, early and often. This is one of the biggest game changers. You might know the theory, but if you can't express your ideas clearly and under pressure, you'll lose valuable marks. Practicing mocks under timed conditions helps you build structure, speed, and confidence. You don't need to be perfect from day one, but starting early gives you time to improve, get feedback, and go into the exam feeling much more prepared. So, keep these 3 steps in mind throughout your preparation. They will help you focus your time and energy on what actually moves the needle. And we are going to walk you through each one step by step, starting right now. Step 1. Apply knowledge. Don't just revise it. The strategic case study exam isn't about showing how much theory you remember. It's about proving that you use that knowledge in real-world situations. The examiner wants to see how you interpret the scenario and make sound, professional decisions based on the issues raised. So, let's briefly recap how each paper contributes to this exam, and more importantly, how you're expected to apply each one. So E3, it's all about strategic management. You need to show an understanding of business models, competitive positioning, and how a strategy is developed and executed. But more than that, the examiner wants to see whether you can judge how well strategy is being implemented in the case scenario. Can you spot strategic misalignment? These are the kinds of insights you'll need to demonstrate. P3 is risk management. You're expected to assess both strategic and operational risks and recommend how the organization should respond. This isn't just listing risks. It's about applying frameworks, evaluating consequences, and proposing controls that make sense in context, of course. For example, how might a reputational risk affect investor confidence? Or how should the board respond to a volatile market situation? Your answers need to show sound judgment and prioritization. F3 is financial strategy. Here, you're dealing with the big decisions, funding, valuation, and investment appraisals. It's not about showing calculations, you won't be asked for them anyway, but about showing that you understand the implications of financial choices. Would the rights issue make sense in this current situation? Should the company pursue a merger? How might gearing levels impact shareholder value? These are the kinds of questions where F3 comes in. So the key takeaway here is, at strategic level, your job is to integrate these 3 areas and apply them to whatever challenges are presented within the exam. You're not working in silos. You're thinking like a senior finance leader, using everything you know to make strong, well-reasoned decisions. And that's the mindset you'll need to succeed in SCS. Step 2 is all about using the pre-scene document to your advantage. And this is a big one. Now, let me be clear. The pre-scene is not something you need to memorize. You're not expected to recall every product name or every paragraph. Instead, your job is to use the pre-scene to predict what the examiner might ask and to prepare relevant, business-focused answers. So, what do you do now? First, let's start with the commercial overview. Make sure you understand what the company actually does, the markets it operates in, who its key stakeholders are, and how it's positioned. This forms the base for every decision you'll be asked to make in the exam. Next, think about the pre-scene from the E3, P3 and F3 perspective. Look at the document with a strategic lens. Can you spot risks, competitive threats, potential changes in the strategy? From a performance point of view, are there issues around cost control, operations or KPIs? And financially, are there any red flags in the funding structure or opportunities for investment? These observations help you anticipate the types of tasks you're likely to see in the exam. And finally, bring in the real world. One of the most overlooked advantages of strategic level is using industry knowledge to strengthen your answer. The examiner will be impressed if you can compare the fictional company with what's actually happening in the actual market, the trends, the risks, the innovations. That kind of insight shows you're thinking beyond the page and approaching the exam like a senior finance professional. So, to recap, the pre-scene is your opportunity to prepare with focus. If you use it wisely, commercially, strategically, and with industry awareness, you'll walk into the exam already thinking like someone who belongs in the boardroom. Many students lose marks not because they don't know the content, but because they don't structure the answers correctly. This slide shows you a clear example of how structure affects your score. On the left side, in red, you have an answer that failed. This was taken from the CIMA website. The student mentioned some relevant concepts, but they don't fully address the task requirement. Instead of focusing on what was actually asked, they wrote about something only slightly relevant, which means lost marks. What's the difference? It directly answered the specific question asked, it applied knowledge to the case study instead of just explaining theory, it justified the recommendations with logical reasoning, and it well structured with clear headings and bullet points. This is why structure matters in your exam. If you write a long, unfocused response, you risk losing marks, even if you mention some correct points. So, how to avoid this mistake? Read the requirements carefully. Before you start writing, read the task at least twice. Many students rush into answering without fully understanding what's being asked. For example, if the task says, explain the risks and recommend actions, you must do both. If you only explain the risks, but you don't suggest actions, you won't get full marks. Justify your points. It's not enough to just list recommendations. You must explain why your suggestion makes sense. For example, instead of saying the company should improve its cash flow, a stronger answer would be the company should negotiate longer payment terms with suppliers to improve short-term cash flow, reducing the need for external financing. The second version justifies the recommendation. That is what gets you higher marks. Stick to the role given. Remember, you are writing as a finance officer, not a student. Your tone should be clear, professional, and concise. You can use bullet points, however, headings and a paragraph text is more recommended because it's just easier to read. Remember, examiners are human beings. They like things that are clear and easy to read. So final thoughts on writing for marks. Structure your response properly. Don't just write everything you know. Read the question carefully and answer all parts of it. Justify your points. Don't just list theory. Explain how it applies. Write clearly and professionally. Make it easy for the examiner to follow. If you follow these steps, you'll avoid the mistakes shown in the red column and write answers like those that are shown on the green column, which is what examiners actually want to see. Now, let's move on to why mock exams are the game changer in your preparation. If you want to improve your performance, nothing is more effective than practicing full mock exams. This slide highlights the key mock taking tips that will help you get the most out of your practice. Start early. Don't wait until the last week. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that students make, is that they are waiting too long to take their first mock. And I can tell you that from the experience, our course is scheduled to have 7 weeks, and we invite students to start submitting their mocks from the week number 3. And it hardly ever happens. Usually we start to receive mocks from the week 5, which is way too late. Why is this a problem? Because mocks reveal your weaknesses. And if you take them too late, you won't have enough time to fix those weaknesses. So best practice is that you attempt your first full mock at least 3-4 weeks before the exam, and use mocks to identify gaps in your knowledge and writing skills. Simulate real exam conditions. Taking a mock without timing yourself isn't good enough. You must train under real exam conditions. Stick to the 3-hour time limit. No pausing, no distractions. Write your answers on the computer, just like in the actual exam. And avoid checking notes. Force yourself to recall and apply knowledge. Why is this important? Many students struggle with time management during the exam. If you don't practice writing full answers under pressure, you might run out of time on the exam day. Review your mistakes. Don't just take mocks, analyze them. Taking mocks without reviewing them is a wasted opportunity. After each mock, go through your answers carefully. Compare them against the model answers. Where did you lose marks? Were you too vague? Did you go off topic? Did you miss part of the task? So best practice is that you keep a mistake tracker. Note down common errors so that you can avoid them in the next mock. Look for patterns. Are you consistently weak in a certain area, like budgeting or financial analysis? If you don't learn from your mistakes, you'll keep making them in the real exam. Practice writing, not just thinking. Many students read model answers and think, okay, I understand this, but understanding is not enough. You need to train yourself to write answers from scratch. Think of it like driving a car. Reading about how you drive a car won't make you a good driver. You have to get behind the wheel. Similarly, reading model answers won't make you good at structuring responses. You need to actually write your own answers. And get feedback. Self-marking helps, but expert feedback is invaluable. Marking your own mocks is useful, of course, but it's not enough. You need an objective view from someone who understands what examiners are looking for. Why is mock marking so valuable? A tutor can spot patterns in your mistakes that you might not notice. They'll help you refine your writing style and improve your structure. You'll get clear, personalized feedback on where to improve. And this brings me to an important point, mock marking, and why it's such a crucial part of the exam preparation. By now, you know that mock exams are one of the best ways to prepare. But what if you are making mistakes without realizing it? That's where mock marking comes in. Many students assume they are writing strong answers, but without an expert review, an expert opinion, it's hard to be sure. Tutor marking helps you fine-tune your approach, catch small but costly mistakes, and refine your structure before the exam day. This slide shows why tutor feedback is so useful. What tutor marking adds to your preparation? A tutor can spot mistakes you might overlook, things like missing key parts of tasks, not applying knowledge properly, or structuring answers inefficiently. You'll get insights on how to improve, not just a score, but clear guidance on how to make your answers stronger. It helps you think like an examiner, so you start writing in the style that earns marks. It's a reality check before the exam. Instead of waiting until the result day to realize what went wrong, you'll have time to fix things in advance. We actually created packages that include mock markings already inside. So for example, our advanced package includes already 1 mock that is marked. Master package includes 3 mocks, and ultimate package includes 5 marking services. Mock marking is not compulsory, but if you want an objective expert review of your answers, it's one of the fastest ways to improve your technique. Now, let's talk about one-on-one tutoring, when and why it's worth considering. And of course, if you are not on a budget, the fastest way to improve your case study performance is one-on-one tutoring. While self-study and mocks are really great tools, sometimes you just need this personalized feedback to refine your approach, fix recurring mistakes, and just build your confidence before the exam day. So why is it so effective? First of all, it's tailored feedback. Unlike general study resources, one-on-one sessions focus specifically on your strengths and weaknesses. And it's faster improvement. A tutor can pinpoint issues very quickly, helping you fix mistakes much faster. And it's also human interactions. Think of it like having a personal trainer for your exam preparation. Coaching leads to faster results. And how to access this one-on-one coaching? We have a package called Ultimate Package, which is the highest package that we have. And it includes 3 personal tutoring sessions. Or you can get an extra add-on if you have other packages. One-on-one support isn't necessary for everyone, but if you're struggling with exam technique or just want that extra level of confidence, it can be a great investment in your success. So here are the final thoughts on personal tutoring. It's highly personalized and efficient. It's focusing only on what you need. It helps you master exam technique quickly. And it's great for students who want that extra support beyond self-study. So you've done the hard work. Now it's time to maximize your exam readiness in the final week. At this stage, it's not about learning new content. It's about refining your technique, practicing under exam conditions, and first and foremost, boosting your confidence. This slide highlights the key focus areas to make the most of your final week before the exam. Revise industry trends. Examiners just love when students connect their answer to the real-world business trends. Go beyond the pre-scene. Think about what's happening in this industry. How do real companies deal with similar challenges? Are there current events that could impact this business? Do timed mocks. If you haven't already, which I would advise you that you have, but if you haven't, then this is the time to start doing full mocks under real exam conditions. Set a timer, remove distractions, and complete a full 3-hour mock. Why? You'll get used to writing under time pressure. It helps you identify where you're spending too much time. You'll get more confident on the exam day because it will be something that you are used to. Get feedback on at least one mock. If possible, get at least one of your mocks marked by a tutor. This is your chance to catch any last-minute mistakes and refine your technique. If mock marking isn't really an option, then try to compare your answers to model solutions or ask your maybe study buddy to review your mocks and give feedback. Look for patterns in your mistakes. Are you losing marks for structure, application, or maybe you are just missing some points? And review ethics. And remember, ethics appears almost on every exam, so please don't overlook it. Refresh your understanding of the CIMA Code of Ethics, which is integrity, objectivity, professional competence, confidentiality, and professional behavior. Many students assume that ethics is easy and they just don't need to prepare for it, but there's just an opportunity for easy marks if you are ready for it. So to sum it up, focus on strategy, not just on knowledge. Simulate real exam conditions to reduce stress, and the final round of feedback can make a big difference. By following these steps, you'll walk into the exam feeling ready and confident. Now that you understand the exam and how to use the pre-scene, let's talk about how to structure your preparation week by week. This plan is what we recommend to help you stay focused, reduce overwhelm, and cover everything in a logical order. So, weeks 1 and 2 are all about setting the foundation. You'll get familiar with the case study format and start dissecting the pre-scene, not just reading it, but really understanding the company's structure, strategy, and external environment. We also recommend looking into the industry background during this time, so you have context when making strategic recommendations later on. Week 3 focuses on E3, strategic management. You'll analyze the pre-scene from strategic point of view. What is the organization trying to achieve? How well is the strategy being implemented? We'll also start writing exercises to help you articulate your ideas clearly using E3 concepts like leadership, change, or business models. Week 3 is all about P3, risk management. Here, you'll look for vulnerabilities in the business, like strategic risks, operational risks, control weaknesses, and apply the appropriate frameworks. Again, writing practice is key. We want you to practice structuring risk-based answers under timed conditions. Then week 5 covers F3, financial strategy. We'll help you apply concepts like group financial structure, funding options, and investment appraisal in a case context. You'll practice answering questions that focus more on financial decision-making, but without doing calculations, of course. This is about judgment, not math. Then comes week 6, and it's all about mocks. You'll sit full mocks under exam conditions, then review your answer and ideally get feedback from a tutor. This step is really critical for developing exam technique and identifying any blind spots. And finally, week 7 is all about final revision and confidence building. You'll review ethics, polish your writing, and go over last-minute reminders, everything you need to feel calm and prepared going into the exam. So that's your roadmap. Stick to it, stay consistent, and you'll walk into the exam day really ready to think like a strategic business leader. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with everything you need to cover, don't worry. We've created structured, tutor-led packages to take the guesswork out of the SCS preparation. Starting with the essential package, this gives you our full pre-scene analysis set, theory revision materials, and 3 high-quality mocks with 15 standalone tasks. It's perfect if you want to practice independently, but still follow a proven study plan. The advanced package gives you even more. It includes 5 full mocks and personalized marking for one of them. Plus, we add a special video covering the key pre-scene issues our tutors believe are most likely to appear in your exam. That insights alone can really sharpen your focus. The master package is our most popular. You'll get 6 mocks and marking services for 3 of them, along with everything from the advanced package, including the key issues video. But here's what really sets it apart. You'll also get access to our exclusive repository of past exam questions, organized by paper, E3, P3, and F3. This is a treasure trove for past examiner trends, phrasing, and recurring topics. It's like having an examiner's playbook. Finally, our ultimate package gives you all of that, plus service of 5 markings of mocks and 3 personal one-on-one tutor sessions. If you want full accountability and expert guidance, this one is for you. You can browse the packages and enroll directly at practicetestacademy.com/SCS. And no matter which option you choose, you'll be following the structured 7-week plan we covered earlier in this video. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay focused, follow the plan, and I'll be cheering you on the exam day. Goodbye for now!